Hi everyone, Mr. H here. Um, so we watched Ms. Pham talk about research, and so if you did the research, you might have a big list of ideas, facts that you found out about your animal. I'm going to do my animal. I'm going to do is I'm going to do the blue whale. Okay. So I read about blue whales and I got all these facts about the blue whales. Lots and lots of facts about the blue whales. Okay? So let me just read them real quick. Largest animal ever. So blue whales now are bigger than the dinosaurs were. Biggest animal on earth ever. Biggest. So big that their tongue is bigger than an elephant. Their heart is bigger than a car. They eat, you would think, big animal like that would eat big things. They eat little tiny shrimp called krill. They're like little teeny tiny things. You can barely see them. They're not like the shrimp you get at the grocery store. They're like little teeny tiny things. Like grains of rice. So you can imagine a big animal like a blue whale is going to eat a lot of grains of rice. So he eats a lot of krill. Lots and lots of krill. Tons and tons of krill. And he or she doesn't have teeth. He has these big plates in his mouth, and the plates have bristles like on a brush. So this is how he eats. It's kind of interesting. He takes in a whole bunch of water in his mouth. She takes in a whole bunch of water in her mouth, and then she blows it out of her mouth. And the krill gets stuck in the bristles, kind of like when you brush your teeth and it gets all the stuff off your teeth, and the stuff is in your brush. That's why you clean your brush after you brush your teeth. So these things get caught in the bristles in the brush, and then she takes her tongue and licks the brush to get all the krill off, and then that's how she eats. Big mouth of water, squirt the water out, and then whatever's left, whatever gets caught on the bristles, she licks off in her mouth. Kind of interesting. She must do that a lot to get a lot of krill. Anyway, so what else? She dives. So when they eat, they go down into the water to eat. They don't eat on the top of the water. They have to go down deep, 500 meters. So that's about quarter of a mile. Okay. Not a lot of predators. However, things like sharks and killer whales, they can gang up on one and maybe hurt it. But not a lot of predators. Breathes air, so it's not a fish, it's a mammal. So it breathes air, it has warm blood. We're mammals, people are mammals. Your kitty cat's a mammal. So they're the same kind of animal like that. They only have babies every 3 years. So they don't have a lot of babies. If you have a kitty cat or a dog, and they can have babies like every year. So not blue whales. Blue whales can only have babies every 3 years. So if the blue whales have brothers and sisters, they're all going to be 3 years apart. They like to live in small. Sometimes they live alone by themselves, and sometimes they live in small units of like 2. So I'm thinking a mommy and a daddy, and they might have a kid, and then maybe so very small. not like pods. They don't like live like dolphins and other marine mammals with big kind of groups. They like to live kind of alone. They're kind of loners. And they are very, very loud. They are quite possibly the loudest animal on Earth. And when they sing they say they sing their songs, the sound they make, they call them whale songs. And when they sing their songs, they can be heard up to 200 miles away. That's a long way. So, these are all my facts. And I wrote them down. And I have this as my research. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide, I'm going to brainstorm which facts I like and which facts I think are kind of, I don't know, they're kind of boring, or maybe I don't want to write about them. Okay? All right. So I think that she being the largest animal ever, even bigger than the dinosaurs, that's amazing to me. So I'm going to put a little check mark right there. So that's going to be my first, that's going to be a fact. I'm not sure it's my first one. That's the one I think is most interesting, though. So something to think about. All right. So tongue's bigger than elephant. Heart's bigger than cars. Maybe. Eats small animals. Krill. That is another one of those things that I think is kind of amazing. We have this huge animal, 200 meters long, 200 yards long, bigger than a football field, and they eat teeny tiny animals. So I think that's kind of amazing. So I want to keep that. They find their food by diving. Well, if I talk about the krill, I might talk about the diving, so I might want to hang on to that. I'm not sure about these two yet. They're interesting, but they're not, I'm not sure I want to just write about that. Few predators. That's kind of like, yeah, who would be big enough to eat a blue whale? So I'm not sure that's very interesting either. Bristles in the mouth. I think the way they eat is amazing. That they take a big mouthful of water. Imagine that. If you had to eat, you would take a big mouthful of something like soup, and then whatever's in the soup you wanted to keep, and then you would spit everything else out. It sounds kind of gross for us to do it, but that's the way they eat. So I think that is really interesting. So I want to keep that. Okay? And then they're mammals and they breathe air. That's always a good thing to talk about, because a lot of people think they're fish, and you want to help them know what they really are. They're really mammals. Having babies every 3 years is kind of interesting, but I don't know. So I'm not going to check that one off. Small families, live in small families. I'm not sure either. And then they're loud. I don't know. So I have largest animals ever. Eats small animals, krill, and might talk about diving. They have bristles in their mouth. That's kind of part of this too. So maybe when I talk about how they eat, I might talk about the bristles in their mouth. And then they're mammals and they breathe air. Those are kind of the facts I want to kind of focus on and think about what I'm going to write about. And the rest of these, I don't know. I might have another page with them on it, or I might not use them at all. So you're going to look at your facts, the research you did, and you're going to kind of circle some of the facts that you like or think are really interesting. All right? All right. I wish you luck with this. I'm still kind of thinking about mine. So I'll talk to you next time.